Okay, recording is started. So yes, welcome to the developers meeting, the weekly developers meeting. Yeah, we just had our general assembly and I was very much prepared for this assembly. So I'm a little bit washy in my head and you guys have to help me in this moderation for today. So, what topics shall we discuss today? What topics are urgent? Just drop some. I drop one and I say enclosure update, for example. What other topics do you want to discuss today? Hi, Mike.
The all Skycam availability is not great.
You mean the QHY 183?
Yeah, when I bought mine, I was quoted up to a 14-day lead time, but I don't know if I haven't mentioned this, but I got an email from High Point Scientific that pretty much said they have no idea when they're going to get it. So that 14 days was just completely made up.
Okay.
So it could be
Okay.
next
So
week. It could be
there's
next month.
there's um, a difference between Europe and America. In Europe, we have someone who can sell this to Europeans. That's why we were looking for sources for the US market and the rest of the world. And yeah, maybe Tommy, you can enlighten us in this a little bit.
So basically, QHY told me that they're not fulfilling the smaller, all the pop shops that are only wanting like 1 and 2.
Oh, you're cutting out, Tommy.
You're dropping out, Tommy. Huh?
Hold on. So
Yeah,
is that any better?
better.
That's weird. QHY told me that. I honestly I don't know why this would be the case, but they said that they're not shipping to the smaller orders. They're only shipping to the bigger dealers. I guess you might want to call them distributors, because they want to focus on the larger orders. So they're more than happy to sell me 50 of them, and I can get them in 14 days. But I do see why when I look around the internet, I'm seeing anybody that has them in stock are trying to charge us upwards of $1,400.
Okay, I got mine for 700.
Wow.
So
Well,
almost
I mean,
700.
but I think that's because they were going to have to order it as opposed to having it in stock. If you go look, because I actually did this, if you actually go and knock on doors, the people that actually say they have it in stock, you'll see that I saw one quote for 1,100, I saw one for 1,400, saw one for 1,000. They're just all, but these are people that actually say they have it in stock, and like I only found like one in stock, so. I don't know. I'm just saying it's all over the board. But as far as what QHY said, they'll be more than happy to sell me the 50 of them in one transaction, and then we could have them in 14 days.
Shall we
But
collect orders? Are you gonna set up a store, or what is your idea?
I already did. I set up a web page. You could go to avbb.net/guy360, and you'll see the camera's already up there. You can click on add to cart.
Ah, the site you showed me once. It's now
Yeah,
up and running and available,
yeah.
accessible to
Well,
anyone.
yeah, exactly. It's accessible. I just have not turned on the shopping cart until I actually get stock of them.
Ah, okay, got it.
Okay,
But
so I was gonna order. I ordered one. I think me and Ido both did because we thought we could get them sooner than you could have that up and running, but that
yeah,
didn't work.
yeah. Well, that's the other problem I've got right now is that I mean, it's a $40,000 investment, and if Alpha One isn't going to come out, we have to figure out what the deadline. I mean, what the date is at this point because what I don't want to do is run out there and spend $40,000 on, and then we got another delay and another delay and another delay because now I got cameras just sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah, that is totally understandable.
So I'm just kind of waiting until I get a good date of when we think something's going to be available.
Well, we need to make sure something works first. We need to make sure it works
Agreed.
100% before you dump 40 grand into it.
Agreed.
I mean, Christian has already played around with this thing. Is he on? Oh, yeah, he's on.
Christian.
I mean, we know it works, but I mean, we just need to be 100% sure that it's ironed out with the system, I think, before you spend that much money.
Brad, don't forget, Optic is already selling to us, so they are already taking stock for us. So
for the cameras.
We already do that.
In Europe, though.
In Europe, yeah. That's why we have to find something similar for the rest of the world.
You already have them in stock in Europe, is what you're saying?
Yes. Christian, please enlighten us.
Well, go.
Sorry, today my camera isn't working on Discord. I tried everything, so this is why I'm late. So I will do without a camera today.
You hiding your alien face. That's what I'm talking.
Yeah, don't mention it. Okay, on the topic. Optic has some kind of contract with the distributor of the QHY cameras, the direct distributor for Europe. And we do not have to have things on stock ourselves, but we get things within 1 or 2 days. So if we order, let's say, before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the camera can be there on the next day. So we do not have to own the stock ourselves. But we are very, very fast with delivery within Germany, within 1 day, into Europe 2 or 3 days, depends on where.
Did they have international shipping? Sorry, Tommy. Go ahead.
I have to ask if we can manage it. I think the shipping costs will be very, very high. So, okay, if we will have someone who, let's say, orders 50 cameras on one piece, I think it's it will fit on one pallet. We have to see what shipping cost that will produce.
If this is an option, Tommy.
Yes.
If that is an option, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm just curious. That's really bizarre. Why would they allow one-off sales from China to Europe, and they'll do it right now, but they won't do any to the United States? I mean, I get that we're in a fight right now, but that's kind of bizarre that you would just do one camera sale. One transaction, one shipment. That's kind of interesting.
I do not know how the main distributor for Europe does it. There are some other things I do not know how he's doing it. But Optic can order some. I do not know how many, but some cameras, and they are delivered within 1 or 2 days. It happened with the QHY 183. My buddy Lutz bought his QHY 269 color. It was there the other day, and he said, "Oh, yeah, okay. If you need 15, you can order them too." So we do not know how this distributor does it. He has a direct connection in China, and I do not know about the savings we get. We were offered 10%, and these 10% are given to Sky 360 directly. So they are. It's just a throughput. I do not know how this distributor does those things. I think he's in business with him for 40 years, and therefore there is no problem with that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I appreciate it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I just was curious.
Yeah,
they're offering me the same things, 10% off, which is great that we're getting that. It just availability is a problem.
Yeah, I think it depends where to look. If there are, let's say, 50 reserved for Europe and they are on stock here at Germany, we will see.
Yeah, that's cool.
Would it be an idea to say, let's say, Tommy, if you import 5 or 10 cameras bought from Teleoptic from Germany, you get them all in one box, so shipment should be pretty low. And then add, let's say, $10 or whatever you think is, there you are, is needed for your expenses and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's not an issue for me. I just, if we can do that, that's the question.
Yes, you can.
yeah,
What I heard. I mean, Christian,
well,
can you ask
if
the
we order,
Teleoptic to do?
hold on now. Hold on. If we order 10 from Europe, you're talking about ordering from Europe, though, right?
Yeah.
If you order them from Teleoptic, this will be Europe.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do some quick math here. So I would buy them at 700 then, probably, right? Or 720, I think you said was the number.
720 is the price that Sky 360 has to pay till the end of this year.
Is this
prices are rising?
Christian,
but
is this before VAT or including VAT?
Including. It's
including German VAT.
Sales price on the street. So if you want to have some, just transfer 720 euros, and it's yours.
So the cost to get it in, if I were to buy it at 720, taxes, shipping into the U.S. would cost 792.
No taxes. It's already a taxed product.
No, it has to be taxed to come into the U.S.
It will be taxed.
There will be duty tax.
There'll be tax.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's not European Union. Yeah, true. Okay.
So I'm just telling you from I ship everything from Germany, and I'm doing the math on it, and I've got it's $792 per camera to ship into the U.S. Now, what that covers is everything. It covers the taxes and shipping, everything. So I don't need anything else.
So let's say 800 is a price you can live with. Is this what you want to say?
We would have to sell it
or
for like 800.
I don't know. I mean, you have
no. Just 800's fine. Just all I'm saying is that's a problem because people are going to be seeing on the internet. You can buy the camera, well, supposedly that's advertised at 700. You can't get it, but it's advertised at 700 all over the place here.
Mm-hmm.
But not available.
Another problem is, what if there's a sudden change in the supply chain issue and all of a sudden the market is now flooded and then you're stuck with stock of camera that people could get cheaper from, like I could still get it from High Point at $6.99 shipping.
Yeah, but
this is very unlikely. This is very unlikely. We are seeing it at Teleoptic for 1.5 years now. The prices the other companies around here kept for stuff they couldn't provide rose quickly up to $100-200 per piece when things were available. And so the people had to pay around $150 to $200 plus. They decided, no, I'm going to buy that one anymore because the newer version will be out within the next 6 months and will cost the same. So the market already crashed. And with QHY, that's why Lutz and me were talking instantly about it. QHY cameras are a little bit better available than the ZWO ones, which are basically the same, but smaller changes show that the quality of the QHY cameras is better. And we won't know how the market will evolve within the next 1 or 2 years. And about flooding, I don't think so. There won't be any because of the supply shortage for the chips and every peripheral chips. I think it will stay the same. And sometimes on the global market, you have to wait 1 or 2 months to get any hand on any camera. The QHY cameras, the market here in Europe or especially in Germany looks good, but for how long, I can't tell. So I wouldn't say that that things go in one or the other direction. I don't think it is a good idea to put those cameras on stock, because we try to design our software like this. If it works with the 183, then it will work with any better camera too, and it gets better in quality, what detection or tracking will be. It is the least camera I would use. So the basic camera I would use. The other cameras are fine, yes, of course. You can detect things with it or not, depends on what resolution you take. But the 183 will be on the market, let's say, for 1 year, 1.5 plus. And then something better shows up for the same price. And the software, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I wouldn't say, let's stock up. I would say, look what the market will give us and then decide. And try, if you put up a business, try to get a deal where you can just buy 1 or 2 cameras from the supplier and not more. If you have 15 on stock, you have to sell them. And maybe you have to sell them under the price you wanted to. It's a risk. I wouldn't take that.
Yeah, okay.
Can I say something?
No.
Thank you. Look, you know what? Today, electronics and technology is going so fast. But in order to get, for example, 15 stations, we need to stick even with little older technology in order to get going. If we chasing new technology day by day, changing this, changing that, you are not changing only hardware, you're changing software. This is a mess. So we need to be a smart, stick into something to get 15 station going. Not perfect, that's okay, but we need to do that. When we chasing better and better every day, we going nowhere.
Well, not only that, but people are expecting at least version 1 to come out. Until you get version 1, you can't get version 2, and people are judging us by that right now. Version 1.
So may I suggest something? Maybe we should just ask around with our developers who wants to buy a QHY, and then do this in one order and one shipping to you, Tommy, that you can distribute it further on. This would be also a possibility and would lower shipping costs. So that you don't have to have 40 or 50. Maybe we have 10 in the developers group on stationeers in the US, or 7, and then we go for this, that we equip the team.
Yes, I mean, this is right. Not perfect, but let's keep things going. You know.
Yeah, that's worth it. I'll give it a shot. I mean, does everybody want one, or is it just a few of us?
You're asking Americans right now, okay? So
yeah, oh yeah. Well, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Wow. You Europeans is different. Wow.
We get it.
Yeah,
cheaper, not the shipping.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Less shipping.
Yeah, don't call it.
Oh
Well,
my
I
goodness.
mean, Ido and I already have them on order. I mean, we constitute a large portion of the U.S. developers already. I don't know that I would necessarily cancel my order.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what does your order now say, Brett? Does it say you get it in 2 weeks? And did it say that 2 weeks before?
No, yeah, I got an email from them, and so if you go to the website and it says more on the way, in terms of like the stock they have,
or more on the way
and
is a
the
standard.
7 to 14 days replenishment. And then I got an email that said my price is locked in and guaranteed, but when you get it,
You know what? Better cancel this. I mean, let's be synchronized. Let's all the station has the same equipment, same
Well, I mean,
quality.
It is the same equipment, but the question is now: shall he cancel his and take it from? He can either take it directly from Germany because Teleoptic, if they can sell it to Tommy, they can sell it to Brad as well. The question is still if there is a pro in having a bundle shipped to the US, let's say 10, whether there is a pro in costs.
It'll save you maybe $100 between me buying it and shipping it to the US and then selling it. I was thinking the price was going to be somewhere around $740.
Okay.
Versus $800 to buy it from Europe, and it gets shipped here because that $800 includes the shipping and everything.
Yeah.
So it's $740 or
$800. Does it has to be the QHY version of the IMX 183 chip?
Well, I've only found 2.
The problem is the following: if it can't be delivered on time or anything else, why stick to the model? I mean, in the first place, we are at development stage here, and if things are working fine in the end, let's say September, October, November, it doesn't matter when, and we say, okay, we have got a working model, and the affordability of this camera isn't given, or it can't be delivered, or anything else. It's as good as the ZW1 version. It's the same chip in there, and it does the same thing.
Yeah,
and if it's available and you can get it, why not get that one?
But the ZWO is less available than the QHY.
I do not know that.
So maybe I want to talk to Lutz from Teleoptics tomorrow anyway. Maybe we just find out what he can do. I don't know if we are so sure about his possibilities right now. So that we maybe come back to this when we know which options we have.
Yeah, but I would say that we're making this so any RSTP camera will work. So we're keeping it technically the DeHua would still operate with the system somehow. I don't think we want to specify this to like a specific camera and a specific lens. One, because availability, it bites us in the ass all the time. In fact, I'm kind of starting to take this personal because every time we pick a piece of hardware, it disappears. 2,
it's the aliens.
It'd be fine. Yeah, it'd be fine to go that route and use a variety of astrocams so long as they meet a certain set of criteria. But then we have to mount them. So what we're suggesting, it sounds like, is we need a completely flexible mount that basically just clamps to whatever we put in there.
No, that's not true. Because in astronomical cameras, this is already standardized. Normally the most cameras are using T2 thread and use some kind of 2-inch feed for the eyepieces. So this is standardized, and we are going to build the adapter around that. And this one is standardized too. So the cameras are already standardized.
The Sony A7 is a square body, a rectangle body. So you've got cameras out there, even 4/3 cameras are square. So how do you deal with that?
The Mikey and the Mikey has a 4/3 mount. And for that, there's already a printable adapter on Thingiverse available. But it has to be altered to fit the right focus length. But it's already on the market. It can be downloaded on Thingiverse.
So may I summarize this? We have the option to use different cameras. We have one camera, it's the QHY 183 that we promote because we said for the best, it's the best price, for the price it's the best you can get for this purpose, for this Calvi 60 purpose. But yes, you can use different ones and you can use even better ones, bigger ones, because the Indy supports it. The question is now, how shall we provide that to the community? I mean, of course we can always say there is a lineup of cameras. Let's say make a created list and put 10 cameras there. And as Christian said, we just need one adapter because they're all more or less the same mounts. Maybe we have 2, 3 versions of adapters. But that could be handleable. We can produce, we can 3D print those adapters, and we can put them in our Plenty Market store. We cannot put the cameras in our Plenty Market store because we're not allowed to. So for me, either people from all over the place, all over the planet, buy directly from Teleoptic. If, and that's what Oliver finds out tomorrow, he is able to sell, and whatever his organization status is, I have no idea. Maybe he is able to do it. That's one. And the second option, I think, is still a Tommy option where Tommy has to think about how many do I purchase from Teleoptic or from any supplier and provide that for the US market. But keep in mind, people, we not only have the US market, we also have an Australian market and okay? So basically we need a global solution. Yes, of course. I mean, if Teleoptic can sell to Australia, I mean, that's the question is just what's the cost for shipping? That's the only
Well, I'm going to
question.
put in an order for 10 tonight just to see if they'll take it and if they and what they'll say on delivery.
Your
Because
supplier.
I can sell them online.
Which company? Which company? Your supplier?
From QHY.
Okay.
I'm just saying that they sent me a quote for an invoice for 50. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reply back and just send them a PO for 10.
Okay, yeah, let's see what happens.
See what they do.
Hey, sir, you made a mistake. It should be a 5, not a 1.
We'll see what they do.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know tonight because they'll get the PO tonight.
I mean, when they offer you 50, means that they have 50, right?
No, they said it'd take 14 days to get them.
Okay, it takes 14 days to get 50, but would it also take, of course it will also take 14 days to get 10, but would they get 10?
I don't know. We'll see.
Find out. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
I've just been kind of thinking here. So I'd like to raise a concern. One of my favorite things is I'm concerned that a 20 megapixel camera, the frame size is going to be that's quite a lot of data to process, and I'm not so. Do we think that the camera hardware spec is in line with the processing side hardware spec? Like, would we be able to utilize that size frame, like all the data? I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm concerned we're going to get maybe like one frame processed every 3 seconds sort of thing.
I get what you mean, Mike, and I want to give you an answer, and I ask then Christian to give you an answer. So my answer would be, yes, it is a good concern, and yes, we are concerned about the hardware, the boards, that will they be capable of processing that size of images? On the other hand, if we go back and say, we take a board and we take a camera that is smaller and less capable, and let's say a webcam, for example, where we are sure we get, let's say, 15 frames per second or 25% frames per second processed, where does that end us? My point of view is, and we had this question, I think 3-4 weeks ago, where we asked about shall we go for a camera like the QHY183, and those people in that meeting all said yes, go for the higher equipment. My point is, yes, you can buy a webcam too, and yes, it will work, but will it be worth it? My point of view is it's still a waste of money. For my person, if I take my money and invest it in something, then I will have the good stuff. Okay, Christian.
Well, doesn't that also?
Pardon me?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't answer about the boards. And yes, if the Nano is too small, we have to go for the NX. And yes, the system becomes more expensive. On the other hand, if we go back with a Pi and a webcam, I mean, yes, we can easily multiply this maybe, but are we then what we think we are? The system, is the system then this what we think it should be? We would never meet our criteria for recognizing and tracking the ISS, for example. So, Christian, your answer, please.
Yes, to address this, Mike, I was talking with Ido a lot about it, and we did some calculations, and we already took into account that we use a region of interest. We can do that directly on the chip of 3600 by 3600 pixels. And we ended up with that the Nano might not take it with, let's say, 20 frames per second because of the speed of the net. This is limited by 1 gigabit per second to around 100 megabyte per second. And a normal image, if we take it like this, would be around 35.5 megabytes, but we can compress it down using FITs instead of a normal image file. And we may end up with around 7.5 to 10 frames per second. This is what we would get if you use just a WebSocket or something like that. And we are already discussing things to speed it up. This is for the data transition. If the Nano can handle 20 frames per second, I don't think so, because it has just 4 gigabyte of RAM. It has to be stored in RAID, done something with it. So if we end up with 20 frames per second in the end that are processed within a Nano or alike, I would doubt that. We have to break down the data at least to 4 to 5 megabyte per second. If we can do that, then it will be done with ROS2, because there things do not have to be copied around in the memory. And at the moment, we can't exactly say if the Nano will get it. It depends, but I'm not sure that it will.
But you mentioned,
but I wouldn't go just say, okay, we are going to kill it with new hardware. No, let's try it out and see where we end up. So if we see the Nano is about 10 frames per second, and we did everything we can, everything that is possible on the software side, then we say, okay, we can't do better, but we tried.
Well, and if the Nano doesn't clinch it, I mean, then I'm my thoughts on the Nano, I don't think it will. I would like to propose that we abandon the NVIDIA Jetson platform altogether, strictly on the basis of availability and price. Like it's there. I've been looking at these modular solutions, and they're just as unavailable and even more expensive. It's very frustrating, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree that I did the same research, and I couldn't see anything where it's going to. there are not really different types of board on the market that could do the same, and these will come to a life cycle and soon. What I don't see any perspective where to go from there. I would say we take what we have and see where we will end up. And
why can't we use regular PC hardware? We have power in the station. We have everything we need to run an ordinary PC, and we have components available all over the world. Let's say an Intel i5, and you have NVIDIA.
You have to go. Yeah, the NVIDIA cards are expensive like hell. I myself own an RTX 2080. The next better version would be the 3090, and this one I have to pay around 2,500 to 3,000 euros for it.
But it's not at least not here. It's not as expensive at the Jetson board. Those are really even more expensive.
The
Jetson
RTX
boards
down in price a little bit, at least from what they were. Still expensive, but
you see me? Okay. You see my point. We need to stick up on something available, not great, but the people can just start the station with it.
yeah.
I mean, this is a mess. Jetson, blah 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 blah. Where are we going? We're going nowhere. Speaking non-stop about these Jetson board, the whatever. We need to stick with something, so we can fire up 15 station and go on.
Yeah, you have a point there.
Yes, of course. We have to start somewhere, and I think
I'm sorry. Year or 2 years ago, okay, Jetson Nano was available. That's okay. Now it's not. I do have Jetson Nano, but some other people cannot get. So let's go with some flat platform, and then we can start 15 station working.
Okay, what? What are we going to use?
One solution is go for the FPGA market, but it's expensive.
No,
but they are available. They are available.
No.
Please don't go that route, please. Can we stay for a second with the Jetsons, please? As far as I understand the Jetson platform, it consists of a carrier board and a module, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is there a difference in carrier board between model variations? So, for example, does the Nano model need another carrier board than the NX module?
Yeah. Yes.
So they do make, well, yes, but I mean, they have people that make embedded solutions often have the same basic parts. So like the number of Ethernet connections, the number of USB ports.
Yeah.
Basically the same board, but for a Nano a module and an NX module and an HX module, that kind of thing. So they're called compatible modules.
Exactly.
Those exist.
That's what I wanted to raise here. What Bojan did 2 weeks ago, please correct me if I'm wrong, is checking carrier boards, design elements for carrier boards. And he found these design elements on NVIDIA, right, Bojan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So my question now is this a carrier board design that can also take NX modules and HX modules?
I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure,
Okay.
but I don't think so.
If Brett says there is manufacturers that produce carrier boards for that fit all three modules, my question is...
I need to check that, but if he check it, that's
so
okay.
no, hold on, back up. My understanding is they make an embedded solution that can use an NX or a Nano. That doesn't mean that they're the same carrier board. They have the same stuff on them,
Okay, the
But there's
carrier
like
boards are different.
yeah, but they're advertised as the same, but there's like a one model number difference, and you know you can't just
But are
plop
they
a different
technically
module.
basically different? Meaning, do they need more
Basically,
power?
different. Yeah, different pin numbering, different power, different lots of things. You know.
Yeah,
So
they're
we
just
need.
advertised as compatible
Yeah, we
because
need
they're
to be.
basically the same setup, but they're not
Yeah,
really truly compatible.
but we need to
Okay.
be careful with that. You know.
Okay, I have to interrupt. Something come up here. I have to quit. This is recorded. I'm going to watch it later. Thanks.
Right.
So yeah,
So my question is, of course, we have an availability issue with the boards, and 2 or 3 weeks we were discussing about the carrier board. Why not go that route, Brett? Why is it? I mean, if we get a design, a carrier design, whether it's already existing or Boyan can magically create it, that can take any kind of NVIDIA module, so NX, Nano, AGX. Then we have one carrier board that is, I mean, you can create that for 20, 30, 40 bucks.
okay. Part of the price that you pay when you go to buy something, it contained in that price is all of the testing, verification, yada 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 that goes along with bringing that product to the market and limiting your liability as a company is so people don't sue you when it doesn't work. When you're like us, and I would frame it this way, we're like a garage band who's planning a global tour. We don't have the resources to really do extensive testing. And well, how many could you produce? I mean, if we did this, do they produce these in batches or the one at a time?
No, I
Electronics.
mean you can order, for example, from bunch of companies, PCB manufacturer, you can order whatever, 20, 10, you can test it. You know, we can do some, for example, we can order like a 5 or 10 just to test how
Okay,
it
let's
works.
say of those 10, 3 of them screw up.
No, they are doing basically, basically they are doing electrical tests. They need to do it. Uh, Now they do produce board, and then you supply them with bill of materials. They gonna assemble, and they had to do testing, basic electrical testing, without module. And
Boyan,
then
that's only for the PCB. As a day job for designing electronics, I would
yeah,
say that that's Boyan as well. But there's a tens of different ready-built modules costing like $150.
oh
And
yeah, definitely yeah. But in order to check it out how this works, I do understand we need to order better quantity. But in order to test whatever we come up with, we can order 10 and test whatever. But
So
this is kind of tricky job to do.
well, I mean, and
do,
let's
do
say you get some.
do you order the test equipment and stuff like that, oscilloscope? Do you write test programs? And it's costly.
It
Oh
And
is
yeah,
very
definitely
quickly.
yeah, definitely yeah.
yeah, it's fun, yeah, but if you can get already built and tested board that are not that expensive really, so
Exactly.
why the hassle?
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they are available, what are we talking here now?
No, I mean you can have people already built, and the Gerber files, production files is widely available. So if we choose, I don't need to do anything. I mean, I can do little changes, but they have a carrier board already made it and already tested. The only problem is to find right manufacturer for PCB, and they gonna assemble it for us. And but
So,
of
so we
course,
are
price will be. Uh-huh.
Okay, so we have basically two routes we can go. Three routes we can go. Actually two. Either we purchase these Jetson, not developer kits because they are not available anymore, but these modules, not modules, these devices, these kits is a better word, where you also get, I don't know, a keyboard and a mouse with it, or a box or what have you.
Yeah, maybe this is a better option.
So, and this goes for 150 or so, which is just 50 more than we bought for our Nano a year ago.
Yeah.
So, Brad, where's the problem here?
I'm just saying we should not design anything ourselves. We should take something that's existing on the market that has been tested.
If it's on the market, of course, we should not do it.
Who
The question is
cares if it has too many Ethernet ports? It doesn't matter. We won't use it. Just whatever.
So
if it has 3 Ethernet ports, why worry?
I'm not. I just don't want to. I don't want to do any inventing, as little inventing and producing as possible, because we just can't support it. I don't even want to entertain the notion if we can avoid it.
Yeah, of course.
I was wondering if it might be worth just if we could. Does anyone have like a 4K video file or even a 20 megapixel, which I think is about 8K video file?
Christian has.
I was just
sorry.
I was kind of wondering if it would be worth just finding out because there's several people that have different kind of hardware.
Yes,
PCs.
Mike, but this is an early stage. You want to test it and make a decision upon it based on, let's say, 20 megapixel file that you run on the tracker on the Nano, for example, and see where we end up. Let's say with 2 frames per second.
Yeah,
But the thing is, even what you not consider, what you don't know probably is that Christian is creating these images from the camera, and he's pre-processing these images. Not meaning that you get 20 megapixel per frame. You get less. You get probably, I hope, 10 megapixel per frame. The reason is why, because he wants to manipulate the MPEG creation, or the image creation by itself, so that only, not MPEG creation, sorry, JPEG creation, so that only the differences are visible in the frame. So you would end up with, let's say, a blackened view where only these parts that change are visible. And that's why the tracker should be more easily see things that change. And the data rate is much smaller. So we cannot compare that for now. And we cannot base a decision on that for now, because we don't have it yet.
So, yeah, no, I was just going to suggest if we could maybe just take like a 4K file and run it on various hardware and see what it would take to get at a vicinity of 15 frames per second. Like if for example, if you basically, you know, if someone's got one of the latest greatest PCs and we are not able to process at that frame rate, then I think there would be a valid statement that says maybe the Nano won't be able to do it either, sort of thing. I was just, it's just
at the moment it's too early to ask that question, basically, because we don't have that process. We can only give you a 20 megapixel video file, but what does that tell us? Because in the future we would not have that stream, that video file.
Yeah, no, I'm just. Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, I can only work with what I've got, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just and I know, like, I've got a old i7, and when I run the 2800 by 2800 pixel image, and it's got several tracks on it, I maybe get like 2 frames a second. So, like, I don't even want to know what sort of hardware would be required to get in the vicinity of 15 frames a second at a 8K, like a 20 megapixel frame, you know. So it's just that I just wondered what it would take, really.
I am curious about the exact same thing because I've got a cluster of computers running up here, running your software. I've been doing so for the last month. And there's a huge difference in performance among the machines. But I, as of a few minutes ago, downloaded a adapter for the Mic-U lens for a Sony camera that shoots in 20 megapixels. So I'm going to try to put this guy on this guy. I'll take a 20.1 megapixel video and I'll run it on Simple Tracker on my Beast machine here and on my old laptops and see what I get.
Yeah, I think it's a worthwhile test, because we all.
It is.
I just don't have.
I don't think so, because you're working with a source material that will not be the source material in the future. So what you compare today is something that's irrelevant for the future.
Yeah, but we also got to test with what we've currently got. In my opinion, I think, personally, I think it's, I understand what you're saying, and that would be great. Don't get me wrong, absolutely fantastic if we could do all of that. But like right now, I can only work with what I've got, really, and so is everyone else. So I think we should kind of try and benchmark it some way.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's irrelevant for the future because I'm doing it anyway. So.
Yeah, but Mike, you are adjusting the tracker to the material that you got, and maybe yes, that your tracker needs to be adjusted when another source comes in. But if you optimize the tracker on your hardware, I would not think of FPS for now, because I mean, you optimize your tracker to have the best FPS output, of course, but I would not go for the absolute values for now. To say, oh my God, if we cannot get better than 5 frames per second, then we have to make something totally different. I wouldn't say that.
No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not suggesting that. All I'm saying is, it's just, I can only do what I can do, and I just don't. My concern, my biggest concern is that there's a potential that the Simple Tracker can do something it can't. I'm just, so I am, and don't get me wrong, I always kind of err on the side of caution and all that sort of stuff, and I wouldn't mind just testing to see how many frames per second we'd get with a big video file, and just to see.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can do, but I don't think that it gives any figures that we can use in the future. Yeah, you can compare several hardware platforms with it, but
no, that's fair. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's rather boring. I can understand, but it's just that we are on the very beginning. We are before the alpha version, so.
No, I know.
We're talking much about something that is not in place right now. So we do not know what the image stream will look like when Christian finalized the pre-processing. And I think as long as that is not on the table, it doesn't make any sense for me to talk about different hardware platforms, because we do not know where we end up. I think it's too early to talk about it.
My question is, do we need process every frame?
Would like to.
What is, for example, how many frames you have per second? 24 or something?
So it depends on the camera what it delivers. The QHY delivers, I think, either 15 or 20 or 25 because of different states you can choose.
Do we need process every frame in a second?
Need to. We'd like to, but we do not have to.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, you spend $700 on a camera, you want the full frame rate, right?
Yes, you want.
I'm talking about I'm talking about processing every frame in a sec.
Yes, we would like to
Processing.
process every frame, but it's not. It's the whole system. The base communication system is not messaging based. It's ROS2 UDP based. So it fire and forgets. So when the frame comes in and is not ready, the processor is not ready to take it because it's busy with something else, and then wants to take a new one, but the new one is already coming in, there will be a drop. But who cares? I mean, it's a real-time system. There will always be drops in data. So it's not the
But
way that
with
the tracker wants to keep up the FPS and does less work or processing. No, it does. It's processing 100%. And if we lose a frame or two, so what?
well, if that being true, then you would want to, I would think, have the highest frame rate possible, right?
No,
As
it
opposed
depends also
to
on the hardware. There has to be an adjustment between both. You can say I go for another camera with 150 frames per second when there is no hardware that can process it. And everything we discuss now is subject to the pre-processing output. So when Christian delivers a pre-process of a 20 megapixel camera with that resolution, but the content in that is mostly black because only the moving parts are in that video, in that frame, then you will end up not with 20 megapixel, but with, let's say, 10 megapixel or 5 megapixel. I don't know. It's just guessing. But
I
less.
don't. I'm not sure about that because I think so. I understand that there, from a visual element, there is there is less data, but it's still going to be quite a large, like the array which stores that data. So that frame in memory is still going to be 20 megapixel, sort of,
Yeah,
still going to be how much ever megabyte, you know what I mean.
that's
So there
why
is. So I take your point. But
we need to use or know how to use the GPU. For now, you're using only the CPU, so we have to exploit that too.
yeah, no, that I mean, yeah. So, um, I just know how difficult I'm finding trying to get a certain frame rate through my PC. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, but as last
So
time I said,
I'm trying my best, but it is, it's a struggle to get the frame rate up high. Yeah.
yeah, it's the best you can do, Mike, to optimize your code so that you get better frame rates. But at the end, it's different on a different machine in absolute figures.
Yeah, indeed. No. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay. No, that's all. That's all I just wanted to ask. So, thank you.
yeah, but all things being equal, more power. That's my take on it.
That's what I was going to say. I think maybe tweaking the code might help to speed up the processing. So that would be something to look into, the actual code of Simple Tracker or whatever it is you're using to scan the frames for the object. That might be something that you can alter in order to speed up that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
And
I think I mean, I don't have, like, personally, I don't have the technical toolkit to do that. I mean, um, I, I, I don't know enough about OpenCV to go and change actual OpenCV or improve OpenCV itself. So I can only use what is provided in a way. So I take your point, and if someone has that toolkit, then that would be great. But I don't know if I have the capability to do that.
For example, if we focus on a good picture instead on good video, can we gain a little more clear picture than clear video?
We need video.
You know,
no. We
we,
don't. We're
we,
not
we
going
do
for.
have
So
can we focus, for example, in order to we need good picture or good video of object, right? And more data. Let's say, can we forget about it? Video, let's get good picture.
okay, maybe you didn't understand what it's
For
all about.
example,
So Christian
for
is now
example,
preparing the acquisition of the image from the camera and pre-processing it and make it ready to be transferred via ROS2. So that's what he's working on last couple of weeks. Meaning he takes an image from a camera, which is always the same for any camera. Take an image, but he does not create a video or a stream from it. No video stream. Just take an image, throw it into ROS2, send it to whatever device subscribes to it. And that device now processes that image. So where is your question actually going to?
in order to save the power, uh, analyzing video take more power than analyzing one frame, one picture, right?
No,
I am
it's
right.
always frame wise. The only thing that you do not have to do when you get images is decompress the video. So we
No, no,
get
no. I'm not going. I'm not talking about compression or whatever. We need, for example, good picture, just one good picture of object, moving object, right? Why we should take a video? Why we not
About
take?
the tracking,
you're totally somewhere else. You are at the
No, no, no,
PTF,
no, no,
right?
no, no. You're tracking is one thing. Uh, take good picture of object is another
Yeah,
thing.
but just
From my
taking
side,
one picture like every 10 seconds, how you can point and zoom
no.
in or
Tommy, you're muted. Whatever you say, Tommy, we cannot hear you.
Richard, that's you. I can hear Tommy.
You can hear Tommy. Oh damn! I have
Yep.
to step out and come back. Tommy, can you say something?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh damn!
About time lapse. We do it all the time. One picture every second.
Yeah, so I'm, yeah, yeah.
That
So
is
yeah.
higher resolution image per picture as opposed to video.
Let's say, I mean, let's say we have tracking the all sky camera, and we need another camera just to take good picture. But tracking camera spots something unusual and take
Oh,
good
well,
picture.
you could foreseeably do that, Boyan, if you had your targeting system. So we support events, basically. So we have all these sensors that record based on events, right? So you could put a Hasselblad giant $30,000 camera pointed straight up if you wanted to and have it trigger on the event. That's if you wanted to do that, you could do that, but the tracker has to operate on video.
No video.
Okay.
Why
Like
you say video? What do you mean with the trackers to based on
Well,
video?
you know what I mean. How it has to operate how we're doing it, not on a time lapse thing. For tracking kinematics, all that, you need a good.
sufficiently high frame rate.
Yes, you don't need a time lapse.
You need images on a high frame rate, not a video.
Exactly, and you can use that to trigger a single shot camera if you want to,
Yes.
if you were so inclined. But
we have to get away from the idea that the video is being processed. It's images that are going to be processed. But yes, there will be a video that is stored.
So you're pulling a frame off of the video, is what you're saying,
No,
which is the same
no,
thing.
no. So when you acquire an image from a camera, you always acquire frame-wise. It's the shutter. The shutter, every circle produces one image. Then the electronic, in most cameras, they produce a video with an built-in hardware encoder. And out comes an MP4, an MKV, a what have you. And then you can process that video. But we do not do that because in that case, you first have to decompress the video again on the other side, and with all the image fragments of encoding, of compressing, MPEG compressing is not lossless, and video is not able of higher than 8-bit storing color schemes. So if the camera can do 12 or even 16-bit, we would not be able with a video to process that data information. But if we have it in an image, we can store it as, let's say, a FITS file or any kind of other astronomical formats there are. You just take that image and process it, and you have a huge spectrum of color in it.
Right.
And we should not lose this. I mean, taking high-grade cameras and then doing webcam stuff with this doesn't make sense. So that's why Christian went for images. It's not a stream. He told me today. I'm not allowed to say the word stream. But for me, basically, it's an image stream because one image comes after the other. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
And then for the archive management, if an event is detected and then there's been a record, then an image, these images have to be put together into a little video that is stored. If that's a storable, worth storing event, not every event will be stored. Only the ones that are worth storing. Yeah, I think it's for anything that it's going to in optimization, it's too early, Mike. I mean, you can only do it locally and optimize it on your local station. But if we then transfer to another platform, it will be already optimized from your side. And yes, we can still adjust it to that platform then. I think it's too early at that stage to discuss about what hardware we're going to use or not. Because we do not have the final specs of the stream yet. As long as that is not on the table.
But at least you know.
Okay, isn't that? But how do you? So with regards to that statement, then how can you say that we need a Jetson Nano, or are you just saying that that's currently the route we're taking, and that's going to be revised as and when required?
No, I can't say that. The only thing I can say is that for now we always claimed the Jetsons to be our platform. But to go away from that statement means we have a better information, but we don't. So it's not for me sticking to the Jetsons. It's just no better idea yet. And I think to discussing about a better idea is too early for me. I'd say we need those images coming out of the camera so that we finally can test on a Nano, on an NX, on an HX and see where we end. And maybe in the future we end with, let's say, one board performs with 5 frames per second, which is a slow board, and maybe another board performs with 15 frames per second, which is a good one. And maybe there's even a top board, costs more, and it can process 25 frames per second. I don't know. It's just we can scale. You know, your software runs on any kind of RM-based machine with a GPU. And it is better on better machines.
Sure. No, fair enough.
Yo. One information I shall give you all and ask you for your participation in is that IDO proposed to make a meeting with us, with developers, to explain ROS 2 and how it shall implement it on all edges, on all places. And it was discussed yesterday between Christian and Ido. So probably Ido will come up in the next couple of days with a date, and we shall find a date where most of you can participate. Because I think it's very important that we all know what ROS 2 is and how it works and how it can be implemented.
Are Sundays not good for Ido?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why don't we do it here? I mean,
Yes, we can, but if Sunday is a no-go for him, we have to find another way. I mean, he's the one who delivers information. We have to just pick it. I mean,
yeah, just thinking weekends and time zones. Weekends work better.
yeah, absolutely. Per se, weekend is better. That's why we do it on Sundays. But what I want to say is, I can't rule for Ido. He has to give us a date. That's what I want to say. Depends on him. And Rebecca, it would be very useful if you could join that session, right?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to implement that part in your user interface, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm actually ready to try one feature to see how we transfer files from one
Okay. You've got
section.
an example
So,
already. Okay.
well, actually any file I could use, but I wanted to practice my camera mask transferring it from, for example, my computer perhaps to another computer I have, using ROS, and just see how that works.
Okay. Cool. Mike, same is actually for you. You will also need to attend that session with Ido, so to learn how to implement
Yeah, sure.
ROS2 for you. I mean, we will
Sure.
find a date where we all can. So I hope that no one has to make a stretch here.
Sure. No worries.
Perfect. Yo, any other topics? Any other topics you want to raise? Matti, um, thanks for being always in our meetings.
No worries. That's just listening. It's mostly software, but some
That's
hardware.
that's what I wanted to say. It's mostly software. So it's just now mostly software because we are now running into the alpha version, and that's why we have to talk more software-wise. But we will certainly not forget about all that is SDR um, in the SDR realm of
Yeah.
radio
And
signals and so
if
forth.
you have any questions on electronics, design of electronics, I can happily give you an answers and so
I
forth.
had several
Yeah.
times asked developers to when they ask me such like that. What we need is someone who tests ADSB devices. So, for example, there's Joe from Australia, and he did that. He purchased, I think, the no elec devices for ADSB with an antenna. What I want to know is what of the products that are on the market are best for what we need. Only for ADSB it's now. So to deliver a message when it comes in, what an object is, and I don't know, per second or every 10 seconds a message, kind of. Matti, you know what I'm talking about, or was it Spanish?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
No, it's not Spanish for the air traffic info and stuff like that.
Air
Yeah,
traffic info. Do you
yeah,
think you can
basically.
help us in that? Because I did not have, and I was asking this several times and several people, but we do not have a final statement where we say this is the product because this performs and is a good price and it delivers that interface, that messages or that info can be retrieved. That kind of. That's what.
Yeah, I can look to it. I'm not specifically interested in software development, so I can look to the hardware side of it
Yeah.
and see if it's feasible or
Because we know
yeah.
we need an ADSB anyways, as an option for a station.
Yeah, I guess you can do it with the SDR devices, but like if you combine it, or do you want to have a separate sensor, or I don't know, like with the passive radar, if that's even coming in, or
Yeah, so passive
Just
radar will be a different thing.
yeah,
For
I think that's will be a bit challenging, to be say least. But at least for the frequency monitoring would be nice to have, spectrum monitoring
yeah,
with
so
the SDR.
you can also go into SDR for now if you want to, because it's time consuming as well. So we
Yeah.
just plan it software wise to implement it next year, not this year. So
And sorry, go ahead, Richard.
no, go ahead, Brett.
Oh, with the ADSB side of things, so we know that some people won't have ADSB setups in their stations. There'll be a simple setup. So the more advanced builds, our idea was to set them up as feeder stations. We looked at Open Skies to feed their network. So the theory is the more advanced stations can help improve coverage for maybe the less advanced stations. The other alternative would be to set it up so that we actually just have our own ADSB system running in our stations. And I don't know, that sounds kind of complicated, but I think either way you do it, what we would like to see ultimately is basically an ADSB overlay. And this might get more to the GUI side of things, but we want real-time situational awareness of the sky directly above the station. So if we could actually overlay ADSB information over the image that the camera's putting out, I mean, that would be absolutely fantastic. And whatever means we do to get that data, I mean, I guess we're figuring it out, but that's where we would like it to go.
So yes, in the user interface, Rebecca, please correct me if I'm wrong. There's an option to add layers. So we will have an option to enable layers, let's say ADSB layer, weather layer, or what have you. For the ADSB data, yes, there will always be a fallback to online available data. But that data is neither real time, nor is it 100% full consent. How do you say this in English? You can't say that you get 100% of the data. There will always be
sometimes
missing planes and so forth.
Military and that kind of thing sometimes show up on one ADSB exchange, but not flight radar.
Yeah,
24.
and there's also a difference in when you have an ADSB receiver. Please, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I just heard that. I'm in no way any specialist here. So that when you run your own ADSB tracker, meaning an antenna and a little dongle, it's not more, and it costs $100 or so. Then you also get information about planes that do not transpond the data, military, for example. But you get the information that there is a plane.
So if you're running your own, you're basically just like and this is my understanding, I'm not an expert, but if you're running your own, you're just feeding straight off those signals coming from planes. So you're not getting anything that, let's say if you miss the signal, the ADSB satellite might get it. And so if you're isolated on your own, you're not getting that satellite feed data. So you might miss something.
Why? If you miss something which is already a radio signal in the air, why should you miss it?
I don't know. I'm just saying, you're on your own.
There's much more chance to miss things, to miss data along the line from the satellite to networks, switches, routers around the world, 3 times around when it ends at your place. So you have a big time delay, and you have a big time delay, and this is for me the biggest concern.
How big are we talking?
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
So are you saying there's 3 tiers to the ADSB that you're thinking of? One would be the online version where we get the information online. Second would be an ADSB device that you install onto the hardware.
Yep.
And we get the feed from that and it connects to the satellite. And then a third one would be where you have your own device that actually picks up signals from planes directly. Is that what you're saying?
2 and 3 is the same.
2 and 3 is the same? Okay.
Yeah, and these are just ideas we've thrown out. We've not really thought about like tiers and that kind of thing. This is just how we've spitballed this so far.
Brett,
I mean, it kind of sounds like
you were mentioning high-grade devices. ADSB is, Matti, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you get ADSB devices rather cheap.
well, no, and sorry, to clarify, I'm not saying high grade. I'm saying, and I'm still defaulting to the terminology of using tiers for stations, and I know I should probably get away from that, but you've got a basic station that's just a fisheye, and the people aren't going to buy any other ancillary sensors for it. You know, they could still get ADSB information online. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying there was a great difference in your receivers.
A great difference in your receiver? What do you mean? Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm not saying the low-end stations would have like a lesser ADSB dongle or anything like that. I'm saying people probably wouldn't buy them and add that functionality.
I mean, if for example, Matti comes up with a device, or Aussie Joe, or both, if they try the same device and they come up with and say, so that's the best ADSB kit for the price, which is mostly an antenna with a filter already built in, and a dongle that you hook on a USB port on a Pi, for example. And then you just run from that company that you bought it from the software that produces output on whatever. We have to just tweak that so that we get it into our ROS communication. But that's maybe a question. But Matti, if you're not a software developer, but if you come up with a device, someone of our software developers should look into it and see whether there's an API, something we can use, and how to manipulate the data that comes out.
Yeah, I can check it out. No problem.
Perfect. I just see you in every developer meeting, and I'd love to work with you, but the time is a little bit off for now because we're all focused on the alpha. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can wait because I'm working at the same time actually on my own stuff here and just listening and maybe commenting here and there. So it's not a waste of time.
I just want to bore you and or lose you for a better project. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Yeah, Matti is steady. Matti is steady all the time. So,
yeah, Bojan, if you have some electronics issues, you can always contact me. I'm happy to help.
you know, Matti, honestly, I am busy with my work. I'm overwhelmed, buried in my work right now for the day job. You know.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have so much time, but after like 7 days, 1 week, I will go back. You know, so this is all what you want to know. But I will surely I will contact you. Absolutely.
All right. Any other topic? Otherwise, I'd say we close it down for today.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's wait
it
for
was a good.
Pardon me?
It is good meeting today.
Okay. Tommy, you wanted to raise something? No. You just raised your hand. Okay.
No, yeah, he's from Texas. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So I'll stop recording and thank you to all of you for attending this meeting again.